Hi, welcome back to this DISC video series. My name is Nancy Roberts and I'm known as the DISC Wizard. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the high I or the high influence person. So if you remember from the beginning, the high influential person is extroverted and people oriented. We just talked about the dominant who's extroverted and task oriented. So again, both styles are extroverted, but the I is people oriented. So what does this make the person's behavior like? Well, typically they tend to be very relationship oriented. They tend to be very outgoing, talkative, bubbly, enthusiastic, optimistic, very positive. I lovingly call them the Pollyannas of the organization or of the family. They just have a sunny outlook on everything and they want to be involved. They love to be interacting with people. You never want to put them in a cubicle by themselves. They would not thrive there. And you really want them wherever you want a sense of fun and positive energy, because that's what the high I brings to the table. Now, again, every one of these styles has their downsides, right? It has their limitations. I'd love to say the I doesn't have any limitations, but that's because I am a high I. But I have to be really honest and say that the high I doesn't tend to have a lot of attention to detail. Or maybe the facts of the matter, because we tend to really run on emotion, right? And the facts or the logic behind it isn't necessarily the thing that the I is going to bring to the table. And they do tend to at times have their head in the clouds. That can be a side effect, I guess, of being an I. And I always say that if you're running late 5 to 10 minutes all the time, there's a pretty good chance that you're a high I. Now I try and defend it by saying, but we're people oriented or we're optimistic, so we always think we can get more done in an allotted period of time. Like, oh, I can get to the dry cleaners and the store, the grocery store and the post office before I have to be at that meeting at 10 o'clock. But that's really where our optimism gets us in trouble. And so if you remember nothing else about the high I and dealing with a high I, is remember that they are very much into the interaction. Because they are extroverted and people-oriented, they always want to be involved. And one of the worst things you can do with a high I is reprimand them in public. Because public approval or being popular is very important to them. So any kind of public ridicule or embarrassment would be very difficult for them because they are so wanting to be approved and to be liked by people. The number one tip I can give the other three styles about dealing with the high I is give them time to talk when you interact with them. Give them a few minutes to chat so that they feel comfortable and connected, but then make sure you get down to business. Because if it's a high I, as I say, you could always put a group of them in a room. They would have a ton of fun, but they might not get a lot done.